I really cannot stand the way boys are pedestalized in some families, in some cultures, and there is a range of things. Some countries do take it to the max, to the point where they are offing baby girls. I get that, but there are other ways where boys are just put up on a pedestal. They're treated like a little prince or something, and the girls are treated like Cinderella or the servant of the family. So this woman posted in the 4B movement subreddit saying, I do love my brother, but hate the double standards with how our parents raised us. She says, my brother was afforded privileges I wasn't growing up. He was allowed to go to sleepovers, stay out late, and be out with his friends all the time. All the things I had to fight for, he could just do, and nobody batted an eye. Even now, when he visits home from college, he leaves his dirty dishes everywhere and doesn't pick up after himself, treating home like it's a literal hotel. My dad always asked me to help in the kitchen and cook for him, make chai for him. I've never heard him ask my brother to make tea or cook once. Those are basic life skills, not something only women should be expected to learn and do. I love him, but sometimes I think it's only because he's my brother, and I feel like I can never truly be close to him because he's a man and can never understand my lived experiences as a woman, but also what I went through growing up as an Indian girl in a patriarchal culture. I also understand now that it isn't his fault, but our parents for raising him like this. Does anyone else feel this way about their brothers? I do not necessarily feel this way about my brother, but my brother was 11 years younger than me, so I am very far removed from how he was raised, but that's not the point. The point is he is benefiting. This is literally, even if he is not acting like a little prince, he's still benefiting from it. And that's how men benefit in patriarchal countries. Even if they are not complete a-holes, they still benefit. And many times it's not like they are turning down any of these benefits or highlighting that they are getting some privileges, whereas the sisters or any of the other women close to them are not getting these benefits. They don't turn anything down. So they are still complicit and still uphold the patriarchy. And when you start talking about the patriarchy, it'll be men that want to act like it doesn't exist, like they don't have a male privilege in their culture or in their country or even in their families, like this woman is talking about. The fact that she has to cook and clean and that girls are socialized or programmed to be the caretakers, that is a privilege. It's a privilege to be able to go somewhere and just throw your clothes on the floor and you just know that somebody else is going to pick that up. And it's crazy that people are still raising their sons like this. Acrobatic Dove said, I was going to guess you were Arab until I saw you said Indian because my family is the same way. My mom didn't try to hide it either. When I asked her why she treated me the way she did and why I was expected to clean the entire house while my brother didn't have to do anything, she said, because you're a girl. In her eyes, we were born to be servants, not people. I still have a bad relationship with my parents, especially my mom. It's easier now that I don't have to live with them or be near them. Women do uphold the patriarchy. It's up to us as mothers to deprogram this crap, but some of them are too far lost in the sauce and they will never deprogram. Background Slash says, have you ever wondered why your father is easier for you? And then she says, I think religion has a lot to do with it, maybe. My mom is Catholic and my dad is agnostic. I think my dad also felt bad for me because I inherited his dark skin tone while my brother is white passing, and my mom is as racist as she is misogynistic. Overall, there's just something wrong with my mom that makes her more prone to really hateful behavior and beliefs. She used to make me listen to Rush Limbaugh when driving me around in the car, and no surprise, she's a huge Trump supporter today. It's hard to say why exactly. That is quite interesting. Background Slice says, this angers and saddens me to no end. Doesn't she know you won't want to care for her in her elderly years because of her hatred? A mother disliking her own daughter for having dark skin when she herself chose to have kids with a dark-skinned man. Religion, the place where many people go to feel like they're better than anyone else. There is no hate like Christian love. Financial Sweet says, I come from a white Sicilian American family. My mom is the same but in different ways. All of my siblings and I had mental health problems that went ignored, but my brother was always catered to, and my family let him verbally abuse me all the time. They tell us to stop fighting when he'd be the one down my throat, calling me names, etc. I was scared of him as a teen. I'm 31 now, and our relationship is very much at arm's length. He has no idea how to approach me as an adult man. He tries to be supportive, but he's still a man. My mom is very much a pick-me, and her dad died young, so my brother was the king in our home. Ugh. As for my dad, he's cut off. Father's Day was such a relief. I hope you get to a place where you can choose no contact and be able to dictate what you want from relationships with anyone. Fun T1 says, same. It took me a while to realize that my brother and I had different parents. He had no consequences. I had all of them. This is one of the reasons why a lot of these women and girls are going no contact with their parents. The way these parents put the sons up here and put the girls down here, right now it is no social stigma to going no contact depending on where you are. Parents are going to get the X if they don't stop doing this crap. So let me know where you are from and if you saw a difference in how the boys were raised versus how the girls were raised. We had a big family where I'm from in Oklahoma. We had girls and boys. We had cousins all over the place. And I remember that the boys got to jump on their bikes and go wherever they wanted to, but the girls had to stay at home. They were more protective of the girls. The girls, we had to focus on our schooling. We weren't treated like servants or anything, but there was definitely a difference. The boys definitely had more freedoms than the girls, not to this extent, but still there was a pointed difference to where we could see that we were being treated differently. But and I'm from Oklahoma, born and raised country girl, just in case you didn't know, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't to the point where I needed to go no contact with my family, but there was a difference. So let me know, what was it like where you're from, in your culture or whatnot, were the boys treated differently than the girls? Weigh in. Listen to this title. It says, am I the a-hole for making my now ex-boyfriend homeless? So he's either a hobosexual or a pest that needs to nest and rest. Let's check out the post. So she says, hi, I'm a 30-year-old woman and I've been single for 10 years. I tend to jump into relationships fast and heavy and they fizzle out within 3 months. The world goes round. Well, I started talking to this guy we'll call Dodge in March. It was clear he was having some living situation problems. I live in a 400 square foot studio with 2 small dogs, one of which is a saint and the other desperately needs training. Well, 2 weeks ago, Dodge said he needed a place to stay. We weren't dating, but I said, don't sleep with anyone else and help where you can. You can stay with me. All right, bet. So he could stay there for a little while. Well, things were kind of hard as having a 6-foot-tall man in the house was a change. I came home from work. He was transitioning to a new job and was home all day. To him, upset that my smallest dog wasn't housebroken. I told him if he didn't like it, he could just, not live here. He went on saying it was a health hazard and that I'm the bad guy for allowing myself and them to get sick. Things escalated. He got in my face and I said, absolutely no way a man is stepping to me in my house, and threw him out. I understand he's not wrong. My tiny boy needs help with training, and I thought since a homeless man was in my house, he could help take the dogs out every couple of hours to potty train the wee one. Since throwing him out, his stuff has been on my patio for 6 days, and he just keeps lurking around. I have cameras. He texted me saying it was ridiculous to value the way I'm currently living, and my family thinks I have a problem getting along with others. So am I the a-hole? But my house, my dog, my choice. Dude is out of pocket. But what's kind of interesting is she calls him her ex-boyfriend. She says, well, 2 weeks ago, Dodge said he needed a place to stay. And then she says, you can stay with me as long as you don't sleep with anyone. Why is she calling him an ex-boyfriend? That doesn't even sound like a boyfriend. It sounds like she just let a dude stay over. If they were, doing the do, That still doesn't even make them official. She kicked him out after he stepped to her. It doesn't even sound like they created any kind of normal type of bond. So I don't even know why she's calling him a boyfriend and why she's even remotely feeling bad about this. Dude got out of pocket. He needed to leave. Absolutely not. She's not the a-hole. He needed to get his situation together. And how are you going to step to someone all big and bad and you don't have any place else to go? Absolutely not. The audacity, the entitlement. He thinks that you know what? This is that whole red pill crap where these alpha dudes will think that even if they are homeless, even if they have no money, they are still the man of the house and they can act like they want. Well, this man is learning that that is not going to hold. It's not true in this particular case. Nemesis says, not the a-hole. Never have a man live in your space, especially if you've only known him for a short amount of time. He sounds like a pest that wants to nest and rest with the potential side of hobosexual. Remove his things from your patio and make sure he doesn't have mail sent to your address. Depending on where you live, he may claim squatters' rights. Check out Bourbon Bougie and her YouTube page. She has lots of videos on these pests that want to nest and rest. Creative Explorer says, definitely not the a-hole. Why couldn't he bring the dogs outside if he's home in your house that you're helping him, plus you're paying for food for him? Is he paying rent? The guy is ungrateful. He's definitely the a-hole, not you. And then Ceramic Savage says, he's a hobosexual. Do not let him back and give him a time limit to get his stuff. Don't ever do this again. You got really lucky, not the a-hole. I'm so glad that so many people are using the word hobosexual. I'm so glad that people are talking about this in the public square so that we can, sound the alarm, raise the red flags and say, don't do this. Women have got to stop living with these dudes because they are acting like these entitled man babies, these king babies, where they think that they're supposed to get their way and they think that they're supposed to be served or whatnot. Don't live with them. Don't bring them in. Don't give them the opportunity to burrow into your couch. Absolutely not. Send them back home. Don't let them in. Let me know what you think about this one. Join the conversation, like, comment, and share.
This is a song I wrote about men. It is called Ew. You're disgusting.
This post in the Surviving Infidelity subreddit sounds pretty interesting. Husband left me, but now he wants to come back. He wants to spin the block. It wasn't as great as he thought it was going to be on the outside. So they are both 42. She says, I've been with my husband for over 20 years. We've been married for 14. We have children together. And for many years, I carried most of the responsibilities at home. This sounds familiar. Organizing the kids' days, taking them everywhere, making dinner, doing bedtime routines. I worked, took care of the house, and tried to hold everything together. I thought I was showing love through my actions, even if I didn't always express it with words or physical affection. That sounds like a very typical setup. Over time, we became more distant. There was less intimacy, less time for us just as a couple. I was often exhausted, focused on the kids, on surviving the day. He told me he needed more sex, more attention, but I wasn't even allowed to call him at work. And if I tried to tell him about my day, he became upset. I also didn't feel I had much space to express my own needs. Maybe I was not sure about them either. 3 years ago, he started an affair. After I found out, it was me who asked to continue with our marriage and changed a lot in my behavior. Focused more on intimacy, on showing my love the way he wanted to show. More sex was one of them. They broke up for a while, or I thought so. Apparently, they were still exchanging emails, and after a year, they started again. He said he could not forget her, that was the time we started marriage counseling. And this March, he told me he wants to move out. I ended couples therapy. I cried, pleaded with him, but nothing changed. So I let him go on good terms. 2 months later, it turns out leaving his family is not that easy. Now he feels terribly lonely, broke up with the affair partner, but still talking to her. Now he wants to come back and wants, I'm sorry, now he wants to come back and wants to come back. Okay, maybe he just wants to come back home. I don't know. I am at a good place right now. Found my peace, but I also miss the good times we had together. We were a great team after all. He admits he did not give all in, or maybe give it all, before in saving our marriage, but he's ready now, and he wants to move back right now. He also wants me to be more affectionate with him, and then everything will be all right. He tells me he's a changed man. He just needs a chance to prove it, but he cannot if I reject him and do not let him move back. He says he does not know what he will do. He gets more desperate and lonely. Okay, that's a little, okay, maybe he's just getting desperate and lonely. I am really torn here. I feel like he invalidates my feelings, my doubts, my fears by rushing me. I do not really see regret. Rather, I see self-pity. He still pushes, still puts pressure on me, especially about sex. He frames my caution as rejection. He says I'm invalidating his feelings because I won't comfort him the way he wants it. I need time. I need him to be there and wait for me, even if it feels like rejection at times. I want him to see that I am still trying. Does any of this make sense? Any advice? Anyone who has been in the same shoes? Can you help me understand his point of view? I believe that he had more time and space to have fun with his affair partner when he had you as a wife. When they have someone at home, even when they don't like that person at home is doing the foundational stuff. And that's the reason why they have the time, space, and energy to go out and cheat. And so once he loses that, he loses what he has with you. And now he can just focus on her because he picked up himself and moved over there with her. He doesn't have you as the foundation. So he just has to make it work with her. And maybe they didn't get along that well. Maybe they got along well because the wife, you were there to make his life easier. And now that they don't have the wife there, the affair partner isn't benefiting from the wife. Affair partners do benefit from the wives. They benefit from the wives because they have this man that is refreshed, that is taken care of, and that's what they are attracted to. But once they lose the wife, once the wife is like free, then the man that they're getting is not the same man. Even if they think that they're getting the same man, you're not getting the same man once the wife is out of the picture. That is my perspective, but I definitely want to hear yours. Let's see what they're saying in the comment. Nemesis says, the fact that he's invalidating your feelings, your doubts, and fears shows that he hasn't really changed. If he was truly remorseful, he should have been understanding about your reservations and taking him back. It sounds to me like the reason why he wants to come back is because he misses the way you managed his life. He doesn't miss you specifically. He misses the services you provided when he was living with you. From what you described about your marriage, you bore the emotional and domestic labor in running the household and parenting your children. The fact that you weren't affectionate with your husband is understandable because you were busy taking care of your kids, maintaining the house and working. You're essentially a married single mother. Of course, you're not going to want to be affectionate or intimate with your spouse if he's not an equal partner in sharing the domestic labor. During the time he was living with the affair partner, he realizes he has to manage his own life, do his own chores, and if he's seeing the kids, parent his own children. The affair partner wasn't doing any wife duties. Meanwhile, you managed to have time for yourself and have peace without him in the house. He made the conscious choice to have an affair that lasted for 3 years and counting. He took a sledgehammer to your marriage, your family, and your trust. His spinning the block and circling back isn't because he misses you. As Bourbon Bougie would say, men would stay in unhappy marriages because their lives are still being managed by their wives. You deserve better than that. You deserve to glow up and thrive. You deserve peace. You stated that you're in a good place right now and that you found your peace. Don't give that up. While you may miss the good times that you had with your husband, that your husband had changed drastically over the years, don't let nostalgia of the past color what he did to you. You deserve better than to be treated as his wife appliance. Wishing you the best. Birdie says, first he had to end it with her 100%. Don't reply to him until that is done. And then the OP says, I feel like it can never be 100%. They broke up before, deleted each other from all devices, but if something bad happens, things do not go as planned, they reach out to each other. Why do you want to be with somebody like this? That's why alternative item says you need to have more self-respect. Why the F would you take him back after everything he did? I need to know and understand this. Here's the OP saying, if I write down the fact or I'd have to give advice to a friend based on these circumstances, I would suggest to her to run and never look back. But the sad truth is, I do not know how I will find the strength to do that. He never said before that he is willing to go all in. If I give him a chance, maybe this time it is true. Maybe we can still be a family. But why can't he go all in without me committing first? Why should I promise anything? On the other hand, when he's with me, we can have a really good time. He encourages me to achieve more, aim for more as a person. I know I can count on him if I need help, although not emotionally. I am afraid to lose him. I really wish that women would get more self-preservation than this, love themselves more than they love these men. But this sounds like a self-esteem issue, and she really sounds like she needs to figure this out about herself and why she's willing to allow this man to treat her like this. No Thanks says, saying he's willing to go all in and putting in the actions to do it are two different things. He's already BSing you by telling you that you need to be more affectionate with him. He's done zero work on himself and has not touched anything to do with the betrayal trauma. Tell him that you will consider it after he does at minimum 1 year in individual counseling, to figure out why he cheated. He goes fully no contact with affair partner. When people do these acronyms, not everybody knows these acronyms, but I happen to. But still, I don't like it when they write like this. No contact with affair partner. He does a full disclosure. He apologizes to you and your friends and family for all of the harm he caused. He starts holding space for your pain. Give him a list of infidelity related books to. Okay, she can tell him to do all this. This man ain't gonna do all this. But this is what No Thanks is saying. She's giving him if she gives him all of this, he's not going to do it. So it might as well be climb Mount Everest or something and go down a volcano surfing. That would be as much as he would do with this list. Let me know what you think about all of this. Join the conversation, like, comment, and share.
You say you like your bitches natural, right? Voila, nigga. Where we going? I'm hungry.